everyone. Greetings, seekers of wisdom, and welcome back to Michael Reed's, where ancient knowledge builds modern wealth. As always, I'm grateful to have you all on here and that you have chosen to spend part of your day here with me as we continue our journey through one of the most influential financial books ever written, The Richest Man in Babylon. Now, what I hope to do is I hope to start putting links in the description below as to where you could purchase yourself a copy of the book so that we can go through them together. So that should be coming soon. I mean, I'm learning everything as I go. So yeah, that should be coming up soon so that you can get yourself a copy. And I also do apologize. I was supposed to do a live the day before yesterday, but I haven't been in the best of health. But I'm feeling much, much better now. But you will get a few coughs and a few sniffles here and there. The weather's just so changeable. It's just meant that I feel a bit under the weather. So together, chapter by chapter, we will and we have walked through the bustling streets of ancient Babylon. We've listened to the wisdom of its wealthiest citizens and uncovered lessons that remain just as valuable today as they were thousands of years ago. While the world around us has changed beyond recognition, human nature has not, and neither have the principles that govern the creation and preservation of wealth. So before we continue our journey, I would like to ask a very small favor. If you believe that financial education should be accessible to everyone, regardless of their background or circumstances, please take a moment to like the stream, subscribe to Michael Reads, and share it with somebody who may benefit from these timeless lessons. Every person who discovers these teaching gains an opportunity to think differently about money, opportunity, and their future. A single lesson can change a mindset. A changed mindset can alter a life, and a changed life can influence generations. Now, settle in, relax, and prepare to return once more to the golden city of Babylon. So tonight we arrive at chapter 6, the gold lender of Babylon. And in my opinion, this is one of the most practical chapters in the entire book because it addresses a problem that affects almost everyone who begins accumulating wealth. Many people spend years focusing on how to make money. They work hard, improve their skills, seek promotions, build businesses, and search for new opportunities. Yet surprisingly, a few people spend time learning how to protect the money that they have earned. Even fewer understand how to make sensible decisions when opportunities arise, promising greater wealth. This chapter introduces us to Mathon, one of Babylon's most respected gold lenders, a man whose success was not built on luck or chance, but on careful judgment. Through his experiences, we are shown that money itself is neither wise nor foolish. It simply follows the decisions of the person who controls it. As the chapter unfolds, we encounter individuals seeking loans for a variety of reasons. Some present sensible opportunities backed by experience and preparation, while others are driven by hope, emotion, and unrealistic expectations. Through each encounter, Mathon reveals an important truth that many people learn only after suffering financial losses. Not every opportunity deserves your money. One of the reasons this chapter remains so relevant today is because the world is filled with modern versions of the same mistakes. We see advertisements promising extraordinary returns, social media influencers presenting effortless wealth, and investment opportunities that appear too good to ignore. Yet, despite all the technological advances of the modern age, the same dangers that existed in Babylon, they continue to exist today. As you listen to this chapter, I encourage you to pay particular attention to the difference between wisdom, excitement. Notice the distinction between a genuine investment and a speculation. Observe how often character matters more than promises and how experience frequently proves more valuable than enthusiasm. If you have ever invested money, considered starting a business, lent money to a friend, followed financial advice, or been tempted by an opportunity that seemed impossible to resist, then this chapter contains lessons that may prove invaluable. The wisdom found within these pages has protected fortunes for thousands of years. The question each of us must answer is whether we are willing to learn from the experiences of others rather than from our own costly mistakes. And with that said, this is the exciting part. Let us return to ancient Babylon and begin chapter 6, the gold lender of Babylon. Oh, that's good. "50 pieces of gold." Never before had Rodan, the spear maker of old Babylon, carried so much gold in his leather wallet. He bounced happily down the king's highway from the palace of his most generous majesty. The gold clinked cheerfully as the wallet on his belt swayed with each step, the sweetest music he had ever heard. 50 pieces of gold, all this, he could hardly realize his good fortune. There was great power in those clinking discs. They could purchase anything he wanted: a grand house, land, cattle, camels, horses, chariots, whatever he might desire. What should he do with it? This evening, as he turned into a side street towards the home of his sister, he could think of nothing he would rather possess than those glittering, heavy pieces of gold, his to keep. It was on an evening some days later that a perplexed Rodan entered the shop of Mathon, the gold lender and dealer of jewels and rare fabrics. Glancing neither to the right nor to the left at the colourful pieces of clothing displayed, he passed through to the living quarters at the rear. Here he found Mathon, lounging on a rug eating a meal. "I want to ask your advice, because I do not know what to do." Rodan stood feet apart. Mathon's narrow, shallow face smiled a friendly greeting. "What reckless thing have you done that you would seek a gold lender? Have you been unlucky at the gaming table, or has some plump dame captured your heart? For many years I have known you, but you have never wanted me to help you with your troubles." No, nothing like that. I'm looking for gold. Instead, I need your wise advice." Listen. What does this man say? No one comes to the gold lender for advice. My ears must be deceiving me. They hear perfectly well. Can this be true? Rodan, the spear maker, displays more smarts than all the rest because he comes to Mathon not for gold but for advice. Many men come to me for gold to pay for their follies, but as for advice, they don't want it. But who is more able to advise than a gold lender who many men come to in times of trouble? "You will eat with me, Rodan," he continued. "You will be my guest for the evening, Ando." He commanded of the slave, "Grab a rug for my friend, Rodan. the spear maker, who came to me for advice. He will be my honored guest. Bring him a lot of food and get my largest cup for him. Get the best wine so he can have satisfaction in drinking it. Now tell me, what troubles you? It is the king's gift. The king's gift? The king gave you a gift and it's giving you trouble? What kind of gift? Since he was so pleased with the design I submitted to him for a new point on the spears of the royal guard, he presented me with 50 pieces of gold, and now I am perplexed. I am approached each hour. The sun travels across the sky by those who would share it with me. That is natural. More men want gold than have it, and would wish someone who can buy it easily to share it. But can you say no? Is your will not as strong as your fist? To many I can say no, but sometimes it will be easier to say yes. Can someone refuse to share with their sister who he loves deeply? Surely your own sister would not want to deprive you of enjoying your reward. But it is for Araman, her husband, who she wants to be a rich merchant. She feels like he has never had a chance, and she wants me to loan to him this gold so he can become a prosperous merchant, and then he'll repay me from his profits. My friend, resumed Mathon, this is a great subject you brought to discuss. Gold brings to its possessor responsibility and a changed position with his fellow men. He is sacred to lose it, or it get tricked away from him. It brings a feeling of power and ability to do good. Likewise, it brings opportunities where his very good intentions could bring him difficulties. Did you ever hear of the farmer of Nineveh who could understand the language of animals? I guess you haven't, because this is not the tale men like to tell over the fire. I will tell it to you because you should know that there is more than passing gold from the hands of one to the hands of another, to borrowing and lending. This farmer could understand what the animals said to each other, stayed in the farmyard each evening just to listen to their words. One evening he heard the ox whining to the donkey about the difficulty of their jobs. I labor pulling the plough from morning until night, no matter how hot the day, or how tired my legs are, or how the rope chafes my neck, but I still have to work. But you are a creature of leisure. You are draped with a colorful blanket and do nothing more than carry our master around where he wants to go. When he doesn't go anywhere, you rest and eat the green grass all day. Now the donkey, in spite of his vicious heels, was a good fellow and sympathized with the ox. My good friend, he replied, you do work very hard, and I will help you ease your life. So I will tell you how you can have a day of rest. In the morning, when the slave comes to hitch you to the plough, lie on the ground and bellow a lot so he thinks you are sick and can't work. So the ox took the advice of the donkey, and the next morning the slave returned to the farmer and told him the ox was sick and couldn't pull the plough. Then, said the farmer, hitch the donkey to the plough, because the ploughing must go on. All that day, the donkey, who had only intended to help his friend, found himself forced to do the ox's task. When night came, he was released from the plough. His heart was bitter, and his legs were tired, and his neck was sore where the rope had chafed it. The farmer went to the barnyard to listen. The ox started. You are a great friend. Because of your wise advice, I have enjoyed a rest day. And I, snorted the donkey, am like many other simple-hearted beasts who starts to help a friend and ends up doing his task for him. From now on, you pull your own plough because I heard the master tell the slave to call for the butcher if you get sick again. I wish he would call the butcher because you are a lazy fellow. So they didn't speak to each other anymore. This ended their friendship. Can you tell the moral of the tale, Rodan? That was a good tale, responded Rodan, but I don't see the moral. I didn't think that you would, but there is one, and it is simple too. It is this: if you want to help your friend, do so in a way that will not bring your friend's trouble to yourself. I hadn't thought of that. It was a wise moral. I didn't want to take on the burdens of my sister's husband, but tell me, you lend to a lot of people. Don't the borrowers repay? Mathan smiled, the smile of one whose soul is rich with a lot of experience. Could a loan be made well if the borrower cannot repay it? Shouldn't the lender be wise and judge carefully whether his gold can be useful to the borrower and return to him once more, or whether it will be wasted by someone unable to use it wisely and leave him without treasure, and leave the borrower with a debt he can't repay? I will show you the tokens in my token chest and let them tell you some of their stories. Into the room he brought a chest as long as his arm, covered with red pigskin and ornamented with bronze designs. He put it on the floor and squatted before it, both hands on the lid. I take a token from each person I lend to for my token chest to remain there until the loan is repaid. When they repay, I give it back, but if they never repay, it will always remind me of the person who was not faithful to my confidence. The safest loans, as in my token box tells me, are to those whose possessions are more valuable than the one they want. They own lands, or jewels, or camels, or other things that could be sold to repay the loan. Some of the tokens that were given to me are jewels of more value than the loan. Others are promises that if the loan is not repaid, as we agreed, they will deliver the property settlements to me. On loans like those, I am sure that my gold will be returned with the interest on top because the loan is based on property. In other class, there are those who have the capacity to earn. They are like you, who labor or serve and are paid. They have income and they are honest and have no misfortune. I know that they also can repay the gold I loaned them and the interest I am entitled to. These loans are based on human effort. Others don't have property or assured earning capacity. Life is hard and there will always be some who can't adjust themselves to it. Unfortunately, for the loans I make to them, even though they are not larger than a pence, my token box will censure me in the years to come unless the loan is guaranteed by good friends of the borrower who know he is honorable. Mathon released the clasp and opened the lid. Rodan leaned forward eagerly. At the top of the chest was a bronze neck piece laying on a scarlet cloth. Mathon picked up the piece and patted it affectionately. This will always remain in my token chest because the owner has passed on into the great darkness. I treasure it and I treasure his memory because he was my good friend. We traded together with a lot of success until out of the east he found a woman to marry, beautiful but not like our women, a dazzling creature. He spent his gold lavishly to gratify her desires. He came to me in distress when his gold was gone. I talked with him. I told him I would help him master his finances once again. He swore by the sign of the great bull that he would, but it was not to be. During a fight, she thrust a knife into the heart he had dared her to pierce, and she, questioned Roden. Oh, goodness me. Yes, of course, this was hers. He picked up the scarlet cloth. In bitter remorse, she threw herself into the Euphrates River. These two loans will never be repaid. The chest tells you, Roden, that humans in the throes of great emotions are not safe risks for the gold lender. Here, now, this one is different. He reached for a ring carved out of ox bone. This belongs to a farmer. I buy the rugs of his workers. The locusts came and they had no food. I helped him, and when the new crop came in, he repaid me. Later he came again and told me about strange goats in a distant land that a traveller told him stories of. They had long hair, so fine and soft he could weave it into rugs more beautiful than anyone had ever seen in Babylon. He wanted a herd of them, but he had no money. So I lent him the gold to make the journey and bring back the goats. Now his herd is going, and next year I will surprise the lords of Babylon with the most expensive rugs it had been their good fortune to buy. Soon I must return his ring. He insists on repaying me promptly. Some borrowers do that? Asked Roden. If they borrow for purposes that bring money back to them, they usually pay back quickly. But if they borrow because of their mistakes, I warn you to be cautious if you want to ever have your gold back in your hand again. Tell me about this, requested Roden, picking up a heavy gold bracelet inset with jewels in rare designs. The women appeal to you, my good friend, bantered Mathon. I am still younger than you, retorted Roden. I'll give you that, but this time you suspect romance where there is none. The owner of this bracelet is fat and wrinkled and talks so much and says so little that she drives me mad. Once they had a lot of money and were great customers, but bad times came upon them. She has a son that she wanted to make a merchant, so she came to me and borrowed gold so that her son could become a partner of a caravan owner who travels with his camels selling in one city what he buys in another. This man proved to be a rascal because he left the poor boy in a distant city without money and without friends, leaving early while the boy slept. Maybe when the boy grows to manhood he will repay. Until then, I get no interest for the loan, only a lot of talk. But I'll admit that the jewels are worthy of the loan. Did this lady ask for your advice to see if the loan was wise? Quite the opposite. She had a picture in her mind of her son as a wealthy and powerful man of Babylon. To suggest anything to the contrary would infuriate her. I gave her a fair warning. I knew the risk for the inexperienced boy, but since she offered security for the loan, I couldn't refuse her. This, continued Mathon, waving a bit of pack rope tied in a knot, belongs to Nebato, the camel trader. When he buys a herd larger than his funds would allow, he brings me this knot, and I lend him what he needs. He is a wise trader. I have confidence in his good judgment and can lend him freely. Many other merchants of Babylon have my confidence because of their honorable behavior. Their tokens come and go frequently in my token box. Good merchants are an asset to our city, and it benefits me to help them and to keep trade moving so that Babylon can be prosperous. Mathan picked out a beetle carved out of turquoise and tossed it on the floor. A bug from Egypt. The lad who owns this does not care if I ever get my gold back. When I scold him, he replies, "How can I repay you when bad luck follows me? You have plenty more gold. What can I do?" The token is his father's, a worthy man of small means, who put up his land and herd to back his son's enterprises. The boy found success at first and then was overzealous to gain great wealth. He didn't have enough knowledge and was too immature. His enterprise collapsed. Youth is ambitious. Youth would take shortcuts to wealth and the desirable things it can buy. To get wealth quickly, youth often borrows unwisely. Youth, never having had experience, cannot realize that hopeless debt is like a deep pit that you can descend quickly and where one can struggle in vain for many days. It is a pit of sorrow and regrets, where the brightness of the sun is overcast and night is filled with restless sleep. But I don't discourage borrowing gold. I encourage it. I recommend it if it is for a wise purpose. I made my first real success as a merchant with borrowed gold. But what should the lender do in this case? The boy is in despair and accomplishes nothing. He is discouraged. He doesn't make an effort to repay. My heart won't let him deprive the father of his land and cattle. You tell me what I was interested to hear, said Roden. But you didn't answer my question. Should I lend my 50 pieces of gold to my sister's husband? They mean so much to me. Your sister is a sterling woman who I have much esteem for. If her husband comes to me and asks to borrow 50 pieces of gold, I will ask him what purpose he would use it for. If he answers that he wants to become a merchant like myself and deal in jewels and rich furnishing, I would say, what knowledge do you have in the way of trade? Do you know where you can buy at the lowest cost? Do you know where you can sell at a good price? Could he say yes to these questions? No, he could not, Rodan admitted. He has helped me make spears and he has helped some in the shops. Then I would say to him that his purpose for the loan is not wise. Merchants must learn their trade. His ambition, though worthy, is not practical, and I would not lend him any gold. But if he could say, yes, I have helped many merchants, I know how to travel to Smyrna and buy the rugs the housewives weave at a low cost. I also know a lot of the rich people of Babylon who I can sell it at a large profit. Then I would say, your reason is wise and your ambition is honorable. I would be glad to lend you the 50 pieces of gold if you can give me security that they will be returned. But what would he say? I have no security other than that I am an honorable man and I will pay you well for the loan. Then I would reply, I treasure every piece of gold. If the robbers took it from you as you journeyed to Smyrna, or took the rugs from you when you returned, then you would have no way to pay me back my gold, and my gold would be gone. Gold, you see, Rodan, is the merchandise of the money lender. It is easy to lend. If it is lent unwisely, then it is difficult to get back. The wise lender doesn't want the risk of the undertaking, but the guarantee of safe repayment. It is good, he continued, to assist those that are in trouble, but it is good to help those whom fate had dealt a heavy blow. It is good to help those who are starting so they can make progress and become valuable citizens. But help must be given wisely, lest, like the farmer's donkey, in our desire to help, we take the burden upon ourselves that belongs to someone else. Again, the conversation got away from me, Roden. But listen to my answer. Keep your 50 pieces of gold. What your labor earns for you and what is given to you for your reward is your own, and no man can put an obligation on you to part with it unless it's your wish. If you would lend it so that it can earn you more gold, then lend it with caution and in many places. I don't like idle gold, but I like too much risk even less. How many years have you worked as a spear maker? Do you think your sister would want to jeopardize the savings of 50 years of labor so her husband could experiment on being a merchant? Not if I said it like you. Then go to her and say, 3 years I've worked every day except fasting days, from morning until night, and I have denied myself many things that my heart wanted. For each year of labor and denial, I have one piece of gold. You are my favorite sister, and I want your husband to have a business that he will greatly prosper. If he will submit a plan to me that seems wise and possible to my friend Mathon, then I will gladly lend him my savings of an entire year so that he can have an opportunity to prove that he can succeed. Do that, and if he has the soul within him to succeed, he can prove it. If he fails, he won't owe you more than he can hope to repay someday. I'm a gold lender because I own more gold than I can use in my own trade. I want my surplus gold to work for others and earn more gold. I don't want to risk losing my gold because I have worked hard and denied myself a lot to secure it. So I will no longer lend any of it where I am not confident that it is safe and will be returned to me, and I won't lend it where I am not convinced that its earnings will be promptly paid to me. I have told you, Roden, a few secrets of my token chest. From then, you can learn about the weakness of men and their eagerness to borrow what they don't have a definite way to repay. From this, you can see how often their high hopes of the great earnings they could make, and if they only had gold, are only false hopes that they don't have the ability or training to fulfill. You, Roden, now have gold that you should make earn more gold for yourself. You are about to become like me, a gold lender. If you safely protect your treasure, it will produce gold earnings for you and be a rich source of pleasure and profit during all of your days. But if you let it escape from you, it will be a source of constant sorrow and regret as long as your memory lasts. What do you desire the most from this gold in your wallet? To keep it safe? Wisely spoken, replied Mathon approvingly. Your first desire is for safety. What do you think it would be truly safe from possible loss in the hands of your sister's husband? I'm afraid not, because he is not smart when guarding gold. Then don't be swayed by foolish sentiments. of obligation to trust your treasure to anyone. If you want to help your family or your friends, find other ways than risking the loss of your treasure. Don't forget that gold slips away in unexpected ways from those unskilled in guarding it. You may as well waste your treasure on extravagance than let others lose it for you. What is your second desire after safety for the treasure of yours? That it will earn more gold. Again, you speak with wisdom. It should earn and grow larger. Gold that is wisely lent may even double itself before you grow old. If you risk losing it, then you risk losing it all just so that it would earn a good return. So don't be swayed by the fantastic plans of impractical men who think they see ways to force your gold to make unusually large earnings. Such plans are the creations of dreamers who are unskilled in the safe and dependable laws of trade. Be conservative in what you expect it to earn so you can keep and enjoy your treasure. To lend it out with a promise of unrealistic returns is to invite loss. Try to associate yourself with men and enterprises whose success is established so that your treasure can earn under their skillful use and be safely guarded by their wisdom and experience. I hope you can avoid the misfortunes that follow most of the sons of men to whom the gods see fit to entrust with gold. Rodan tried to thank him for his wise advice, but he would not listen, saying, "The king's gift will teach you lessons. If you keep the 50 pieces of the gold, you must be discreet. Many uses will tempt you. You will be given a lot of advice. Numerous opportunities to make large profits will be offered to you. The stories from my token box should warn you. Before you let any piece of gold leave your pouch, to be sure that you have a safe way to get it back again. If you need further advice from me, come back again. I will gladly give it. Before you go, read what I have carved beneath the lid of my token box. It applies both to the borrower and the lender. Better a little caution than a great regret." Excuse me, my nose is just a bit bunged up at the moment. Oh, I should have had some tissue with me. I apologize. Having listened to this chapter, it becomes clear that George Clason was not simply teaching us about lending money. He was teaching us about judgment, responsibility, and the importance of protecting what we work so hard to earn. What makes Mathan such an interesting character is that he understands something many people never fully appreciate. Wealth is not created solely through earning money. Wealth is preserved and multiplied through wise decisions. In many ways, the ability to make sound judgments is more valuable than gold itself. Throughout the chapter, people come to Mathan seeking financial assistance. Each request serves as a lesson, and each lesson reveals something important about human behavior. Some individuals possess determination, experience, and realistic plans. Others possess little more than optimism and ambition. By carefully examining each case, Mathan demonstrates that before money leaves your hands, wisdom must enter the decision-making process. The first major lesson concerns the protection of capital. Modern investors often focus exclusively on returns. They ask how much money they might make, how quickly they can grow their investments, and how soon they can achieve financial freedom. However, Mathan reminds us that before we think about growth, we must think about safety. Money that is lost cannot compound. Wealth that disappears cannot generate future opportunities. Protecting what you have earned should always be the first responsibility of anyone seeking financial success. Another powerful lesson involves the importance of seeking advice from qualified individuals. One of the stories within the chapter illustrates the danger of accepting guidance from someone who lacks expertise in the area being discussed. This mistake remains remarkably common today. People routinely take investment advice from individuals who never invested successfully, business advice from those who never operated a business, and financial guidance from people struggling with their own finances. Mathan teaches us that if we wish to make wise decisions, we should seek counsel from those who possess genuine experience rather than confident opinions. Perhaps the most timeless lesson of all concerns greed. Human beings have always been attracted to the possibility of easy wealth, whether in ancient Babylon or modern society. People continue to believe that extraordinary rewards can be obtained with little effort or risk. This desire often blinds individuals into obvious warning signs. Mathan's approach is very different. He remains patient, disciplined, and cautious. Rather than chasing every opportunity, he carefully evaluates each one. He understands that wealth is built gradually through sound decisions, repeated consistently over time. This chapter also highlights the importance of investing only in opportunities that we understand. There is great wisdom in admitting when we lack knowledge. Too many people risk money in areas they do not comprehend simply because others appear to be succeeding. Yet understanding reduces uncertainty, while ignorance increases risk. Finally, we are reminded that character remains one of the most valuable assets any person can possess. Skills can be learned and fortunes can be rebuilt, but integrity influences every financial decision we make. Throughout the chapter, Mathan repeatedly evaluates not only a person's proposal, but also their reliability and responsibility and willingness to honor commitments. In many cases, character proves more important than collateral. If there is one lesson I hope you take away from today's chapter is this: money is attracted to wisdom and repelled by carelessness. Excuse me. The goal is not simply to earn more. The goal is to become the kind of person capable of managing greater wealth responsibly. When wisdom grows, wealth often follows. When judgment improves, opportunities become easier to recognize. And when patience replaces greed, financial progress becomes far more sustainable. These lessons built fortunes in Babylon, and they remain just as powerful today. If today's chapter provided value, insight, or new perspectives, please help us continue spreading the timeless lessons by liking the stream, subscribing to Michael Reads, and sharing it with someone who is serious about improving their financial future and their financial health. Remember, knowledge has little value unless it is applied. Take one lesson from today's chapter and look for an opportunity to put it into practice this week. Until we meet again upon the golden roads of Babylon, continue seeking knowledge, continue applying wisdom, and remember that wealth is not built by chance but by understanding. I am Michael Reads. Thank you for joining me, and I shall see you in the next chapter. Take care. Goodbye.